this is Princey, Associate Professor in Mental Health Nursing. We have got various treatment modalities in psychiatric nursing, right? We have got the use of psychopharmacological agents, we use the psychotherapies, we use the physical therapies like the ECT, light therapy. Apart from that, we have a system of medicines which are useful for the treatment of psychiatric conditions. So these systems, which we can say it has, the traditional systems which is followed especially in India, wherein in the earlier days or in the ancient period, the people or the doctors, so the we had got some specialists who used to use these medicines for treating the mental disorders, right? So we have the term which is called as the alternative systems of medicines. So these alternative systems of medicines are including especially the treatment mode, which is preparation from the plant or herbs, or they use some kind of kashayas or some liquid form of the medications by the use of the herbs or the plants, right? And or they use some metallic substances in the treatment of the disorders, right? So the topic that I'm going to talk about is the alternative systems of medicine. So otherwise it is called as complementary and alternative systems of medicines. So what is this? The definition: alternative medicines includes the interventions that differ from the traditional or conventional biomedical treatment of the disease. So this is a separate category of the treatment which are being used by the people, right? So apart from the traditional or a conventional method of the treatment from the psychopharmacological agents, we have the traditional system of medicines which is termed as the alternative systems of the medicines. We can say it as it's an intervention that is used instead of the conventional method of the treatment. If you take the history of these alternative systems of medicine, so before the independence, the government of India used these traditional systems of medicines, which are nothing but Ayurveda, Siddhi, as well as Unani. They also use the non-drug therapies like the yoga as well as the naturopathy. Okay, so this is what is all about the alternative systems of medicines, how it was used in India before the independence. So after the independence, after 1947, we had seen some changes, right? So government of India recognized the importance of these alternative systems of medicines in the treatment of various ailments, and in the year 1995, under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, a separate department of Indian system of medicines as well as homeopathy was put in the system of the treatment of various ailments. Okay, so you can see that we have got Ayush, right? When we got the Ayurveda, homeopathy, Unani, Siddhi. So all these systems that we use in the treatment of various disorders. So in India, we have got a separate, department wherein this being included in the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare for treatment of various disorders. Let us see the types of the popular health alternative systems of medicine. According to the National Center for Complementary and Alternative Medicines, they have got a classification of their systems. So based on that, the number one is biologically based methods. The second one is energy medicine systems, manipulative and body-based methods or the practices, mind-body medicine systems, and we have the whole body medicine system. So this is the major classification of the alternative and complementary systems of medicine. So here in the image, you can see each of these types. The first one, which is the biological based methods, mainly make use of the diet, herbs, as well as vitamins in their treatment. So that is the biologically available materials that they make use of with the herbs, diet, as well as vitamins in the treatment of various disorders. So the second type is manipulative and body-based systems of medicines, which includes or which makes use of various therapies like massage, chiropractic therapy, as well as osteopathy. So this is on both the mind and the body. What are the techniques that they use in the treatment of the diseases? The third one, we have mind and body relationship or the medicines, wherein they make use of techniques of relaxation, yoga, as well as spirituality. So these are the techniques which are used to have relaxation on the mind as well as on the body. So their main treatment here is related to the various relaxation techniques, the use of yoga as well as spirituality. The next one is the alternative medicine systems, wherein they use Ayurveda, homeopathy, as well as the naturopathy. Okay, so that is the alternative medicines that we have apart from the conventional psychopharmacological agents or the pharmacologies. The energy therapies, which makes use of the magnetic field, right? We have got the therapies in that, wherein they use the Reiki therapy, the magnetic field, as well as Qigong therapy that they use. So this is about, brief about the classification. Let us learn about each of it in detail. The first one is the biologically based methods of medicines that they use, right? So as I told you, in the biological based method, the use of naturally available, herbs from the plants, right? We have got the, modification in the diet as well as the vitamins that they use in the treatment. So mainly this includes the herbal medicine, diet, as well as the nutritional supplements. So they use the substances which are naturally available, which is found in the nature, such as the herbs, foods, vitamins, as well as the other natural substances in the treatment. So that is the biological based method that we use. The second one is the energy medicine system. In this particular field, they use the electromagnetic field, they use the Qigong therapy, as well as the therapeutic touch. So it is like an individual has got some energy around him. Okay, we have got the positive and the negative energy around an individual. So they use this energy mechanisms in the treatment of the disorders. Okay, they strongly believe that an individual is surrounded by a field which is called as the biofield or the energy, wherein these energy fields are penetrating into the body systems. So based on this idea, they make use of various bioelectromagnetic field such as the pulse field, alternating currents or direct current fields in an unconventional manner. So that is what they use in the electromagnetic or the energy based field for the treatment of various elements in the body. The next type is the manipulative and body-based practices. So here we are going to use the acupuncture, the chiropractic, aromatherapy, massage therapy, mind-body medical system. So here onto the body, there are some manipulations which are made in the form of, we give in the form of a massage, which is going to increase the, blood circulation. So, or it's going to improve the energy of an individual, or they use the acupuncture, they use the fine needles on the pressure points at certain points, okay, so which is going to bring a relief of stress or some whatever the problems of the client is. Okay, so they use some mechanism or manipulation that they use onto the body, which is going to bring some changes onto the body, manipulates the body system, thereby giving the treatment. The next one is the mind-body medical system, where they use the biofeedback, hypnosis, tai chi, as well as the yoga. Mind-body mechanisms takes the holistic approach in the treatment of the diseases, wherein they explore the interconnection between the mind, body, and the spirit. They work on the principle that mind can have an effect on the body as well as the vice versa. So the mind, body, and the spirit are interconnected, and any problem in any of these systems are going to affect the other system. So the treatment is a holistic approach in terms of mind, body, as well as the spirit. So that is related to the mind-body medical system. The next type is the whole body medical system, wherein they use the alternative systems of the medicines, that is the homeopathy, naturopathy, Ayurveda, as well as certain traditional Chinese methods of techniques that they use, like nutritional therapy, massage, meditation, herbal treatment, acupuncture, and certain physical exercises. Right. So let us learn about each of these alternative systems in detail. The first one, which is followed in the Indian system, is the Ayurveda. So we can say that it's a traditional Hindu system of medicines used in India since the ancient time. So it has been practiced in India since the 1st century AD. According to the Ayurveda, they believe that the growth and decay of this body matrix comprises of mainly the humerus tissues as well as waste. So based on these three things, the humerus tissues as well as the waste, the human body growth and development as well as the decay depends upon. So if you take the body matrix, okay, it includes the first thing, which is humor, which consists of the three things, that is Vata, Pitta and Kapha, right? So these are the three humors. So humors are nothing but the body fluids. So if you take the body fluids in the human body, what are the things which are there in the fluid form? Right? The four humors in the human body. One is the blood. Second, we have the phlegm. We have got the black bile as well as the yellow bile. Right? So these are the body fluids, which is termed as humor. So any changes in the body fluids, it can be relation to the blood or bile or relation to the phlegm. It is going, the whole body matrix is going to undergo some changes leading to the disease. Right? So it can be related to the temperature of these fluids. It can be the hotness or the coldness of these fluids, wetness or the dryness of these fluids. So it is going to have an interconnection with the body matrix leading to the disease. So that is what is the humor about in Ayurveda. The next thing what they say is about the tissues. So if you take the human body, according to Ayurveda, they have got the basic 7 tissues, wherein if changes in these tissues takes place, an individual gets affected with the disorder. What are those 7 tissues? We have got the Shukra, Maja, Asti, Meda, Mansa, Rakta as well as. So these are all again interconnected. Any changes in these tissues, an individual ends up with the disorder. The third thing which they believe is about the waste. Right? So if you take the waste matter in the human body, so it consists of feces, urine as well as the sweat. So any kind of the changes in the body matrix, it can be related to the humor or the tissues or the body waste. An individual ends up with the disorder or any kind of the disease. So Ayurveda is mainly based upon this body matrix. Any kind of alteration in terms of indigestion, digestion or absorption, assimilation, metabolism of food, interplay in the health as well as the disease. So this body matrix is also being affected by the psychological mechanism as well as the Agni, which is called as the biofire. So this human body or the human matrix is mainly composed of humor, tissues and waste, and they are interrelated. Along with that, we have got a psychological part also, an interconnection with the Agni or the biofire, which is going to form the overall alteration in these systems and metabolisms, which is going to contribute to the disease. If you take the Ayurveda, we have got something called as the Panchabhutas. So what are these Panchabhutas? According to Ayurveda, they say that all objects, including the human body in this particular universe or the environment, is composed of these Panchabhutas, which is the air, water, earth, fire, as well as the vacuum. So if you take these, Panchabhutas, Ayurveda believe that there is a balanced condensation of these elements in different proportions, which is going to meet the needs of the body matrix. So you can say that these Panchabhutas are related to the, body matrix. So based on these changes in the air, water, or earth, or vacuum, or fire, there may be an effect on the body matrix. Growth and development of the body matrix mainly depends upon the nutrition or the diet, pattern what an individual takes. The food is composed of the 5 elements which nourishes the body after the action of biofire. So biofire is nothing but the Agni, which is a factor which is responsible for the penetration into minute spaces. So we have got a kind of absorption which happens, right? Same thing here, the Agni or the biofire is a factor which enables for the penetration of these elements into the spaces which are there, the minute spaces which are there in the body. So this is about the Panchbhutas. Let us see the concept of Ayurveda, health and sickness. Okay, so what is it about Ayurveda on the health and sickness? According to Ayurveda, the health and sickness totally depends upon the body matrix. So the presence or absence of balance in the body matrix really matters to classify a person as a healthy person or is having any kind of the sickness. We have got the intrinsic as well as the extrinsic factors that can cause disturbance in the natural equilibrium leading to the disease. So this is the concept of Ayurveda on health and sickness. So why there is a loss of equilibrium, right? So what is the cause of equilibrium? So as I told you, mainly the Ayurveda depends upon the body matrix, right? So if there is equilibrium in the body matrix, there is a balance in the body matrix, then a person is termed to be healthy. If there is disequilibrium, then a person is termed to be sick. Now, what is the cause of loss of the equilibrium? Number one, it can be because of the irregular diet. You know, in Ayurveda, diet or nutrition plays an important role to, classify him as unhealthy. So if a person is practicing an irregular pattern of the diet, an individual can end up with any kind of the disorder. Undesirable habits, seasonal abnormalities. If you take the Panchbhutas, which includes the air, water, vacuum, earth, fire, all these things, if the seasonal atmosphere or the environment brings about some kind of abnormalities in the individual, then a person is termed to be sick. Next is the improper exercise. If a person is not practicing or keeping his body physically fit, incompatible action of body and mind. So if the body is affected, even the mind can get affected. If the mind is affected, the body can be again affected. So there is an interrelation between the mind and the body, or you can say the interrelationship between the body matrix as well as the psychological aspect of the mind. They are interrelated. If there is an incompatibility between these, then a person ends up with the disease. So this is the cause of loss of equilibrium. Moving on to the diagnosis part, in the Ayurveda, how do they diagnose a condition? So mainly, they do a general physical examination when a client comes. Okay, they do the general physical examination. So whatever the indications that they get on the rhythm, rate of the pulse, okay, or that determines, that will help out an Ayurvedic physician to find out the problem. The third examination that they do is the urine examination of the skin, ear, tongue, eyes, including the tactile and the auditory functions. Then also they do the examination of the feces. So you know the body fluids, right? So you've got the blood, the phlegm, then you've got the bile. So all these body fluids, or if you take the tissues, okay, of the body as well as the waste materials of the body, that is the urine, sweat or the feces, all these indicates if any abnormalities indicates a disease. So they do a examination of even all these blood or the urine, and we have got the feces as well as the general examination that they do, examination of the eyes, ears, okay, then you've got the tactile, auditory, the tongue as well as the skin. So this is the way that they do the diagnosis. diagnosis. Moving on to the treatment part in Ayurveda. So the treatment part in Ayurveda includes regulating the diet and activity. So you know the importance of diet. If the person is having a balanced diet, in a regular pattern, then a person is termed to be healthy. So if there is an irregular diet pattern, okay, then a person is termed to be sick, right? They give a regular diet and exercise treatment. The next treatment that they do is correcting life routine and behavior. So you know how important the mind and body connection is, right? So they give a treatment related to correction of the life routine that they have, as well as modification in the behavior. The third thing they use is administration of the drugs, so especially in the forms of herbal medicines or kashayams that they use, okay, for the administration of drugs in Ayurveda. Then it is restoring to preventive panchakarma. We've got the rasayana therapy, purification treatment, palliative treatment. We do use psychotherapy in Ayurveda, and also avoidance of disease causing factors. So let us see in detail about few of the treatment modalities. The number one is palliative treatment. So the palliative treatment in Ayurveda is called as Shamana therapy, right? So what is the Shamana therapy? It's the elimination of doshas, or it's the elimination of doshas or the humors, right? So humors includes the blood, we have got the phlegm, we have got the bile. So if there are any doshas or problems related to the humors or the body fluids, so that is going to be manipulated. So that is going to be treated here, right? So we have got corrections in terms of digestion, creation of hunger or thirst, exercise therapy, exposure to the sun rays, the fresh air, as well as appetizer. Okay, so making use of these Panchabhutas, the treatment of Ayurveda is given as a palliative treatment of Shamana therapy for removing the doshas, or bringing some alterations in the humor, right? So that is the palliative care. The second type of treatment is purification treatment, which is termed as Shodhana therapy. So the aim of Shodhana therapy is the removal of causative factor of somatic as well as psychosomatic disease. So we have got some causes which are causing, body related or physical illness, as well as the psychological illness in a person. So the main cause has to be removed. So that is the aim of the Shodhana therapy. This Shodhana therapy is mainly done by the Pancha Karma therapy, which includes Vamana, which is therapeutic vomiting or emesis. Through the vomiting, inducing vomiting or emesis, the person will feel better. That is the first Panchakarma treatment that they use in the Shodhana therapy, which is Vamana. The second one is Virechan, which is the purging. Okay. Third one is the Rakta Moksha. So, one of the humor we have is the blood. So, here there is a treatment of purification of blood, which is done by Rakta Moksha, which is blood letting the blood, right? So, or removing the impure blood. Okay, that is what is done in the Rakta Moksha. The next we have is the Basti, wherein they use certain medicated enemas, which is going to make the person to eliminate those waste which is impure or toxic in nature through the feces. So that is called as Basti. With the use of enema, they're going to remove the impure humor. The last Panchakarma treatment is the Nasya, which is the elimination of toxins through the nostrils or through the nose. So the phlegm, okay? So we have got the mucus. So all these things which are, having the problem, right? Or the toxins which are eliminated through the nose, which is called as Nasya. So this is the Panchakarma treatment that is done for the purification or the Shodhana therapy. The third treatment modality is prescriptions of the diet as well as the activities, which is termed as Pathya Vyavastha. So here in this, there will be some treatment in the diet which is given. There will be indications and contraindications for the diet. They'll be telling what are the foods or diet that they have to follow. What are the restrictions in the diet that they have to follow, right? So that is what is pathya, right? So restrictions which has to be done in the diet. And also they bring about some changes in the activity of the person, habits, as well as the emotional status. So there is an emphasis on the do's and don'ts of diet to stimulate the Agni or the biofire, which is a factor which is responsible for the penetration into the minute spaces which is there in the body, and also to optimize the digestion as well as the assimilation of food to strengthen the tissues. Okay, so that is what is done in the Pathya Vyavastha, which is the alteration or the changes in the diet as well as the activity of the person. The fourth one is avoidance of disease causing as well as aggravating factors. So there are some factors which will aggravate the conditions or which is going to cause the disease. So we need to avoid those factors which are causing the disease as well as aggravating the disease. In Ayurveda, it is called as Nidan Parivarjan, right? Avoidance of the causative factors as well as aggravating factors. Nidan Parivarjan. So here they'll be avoiding the disease causing factors in terms of the diet as well as the lifestyle of a patient. So they will be doing a modification in the diet pattern as well as the lifestyle. It also stresses the individual to get refrained from the precipitating or aggravating factors which is contributing to the disease. So that is about Nidan Parivarjan. The next treatment we have is a psychotherapy. Okay, in Ayurveda, the psychotherapy is termed as Sattva Vijaya Chikitse. Okay, so it is called as Sattva Vijaya Chikitse, the psychotherapy in Ayurveda. It is mainly concerned with the mental disturbances, people who have the mental disorders and the mental disturbances, so they will be undergoing this Sattva Vijaya. So it is to refrain the mind from the diseases and also for the cultivation of certain behavior such as the courage, memory, as well as the concentration. So that is the psychotherapy in Ayurveda. The last one is the use of immunomodulators. So in Ayurveda, it is termed as Rasayana therapy. Okay, so through the Rasayana therapy, okay, they are going to boost the immunity or the immune system. So it is mainly dealing with strengthening the individual as well as to boost up the vitality or energy of an individual. Integrity of the body matrix is done. Immunity against the diseases, promotion of memory, intelligence, and also preservation of youth. So how to maintain or preserve the age or the youth, okay, that also is done in the Rasayana therapy. Right? So these are the various treatment modalities that we have in the Ayurvedic system of the medicine. Moving on to the next system of medicine, which is the Siddha, okay, or Siddhi medicine. It is termed to be the oldest medical system in India. So if you take the meaning of Siddha, it is the achievement. So we have got the 18 Siddhars. Okay, Siddhars are the religious people who were used to, live in the ancient times. They used to live in the particular forest or in particular areas, right? So wherein they used to do the various spirituality, meditation and all. So these we had 18 Siddhars or the religious people who have, given the enlightenment to this Siddha medicine. So they were the ones who formulated the Siddha therapy in the nature, right? By using the naturally available materials. The concept of Siddha medicine, they believe that there are 5 elements, humors, which is going to cause a disturbance in a person leading to the disease. So they consider the human body as a replica of the universe. So how a universe is, okay, the whole universe, the human body, they consider it as the universe, okay. wherein the whole system in the body are interrelated. So any changes in any of the systems or any alterations, okay, it can be related to the mind or body, the whole system of the universe will be affected. So that is what is their concept. Moving on to the material medica, what they use in Siddha. Siddha system of medicine has developed a unique systems of medicine which is rich as well as unique treasure of drug knowledge by use of metals and minerals. So if you see the treatment modalities in Siddha medicine, mainly they use the metals or the minerals which are available in the nature for treating the disorders in the human body. They make use of 25 varieties of water-soluble inorganic compounds which are called as Uppu. It is nothing but the alkalis as well as the salts. They've also got 64 varieties of minerals which are used as drug, which is insoluble in the water but it evaporates when put in the fire. So we have got 64 such varieties of minerals. Out of the 64, 32 are the natural minerals that is naturally available, they use it, and 32 are artificial ones, right? So if you take the old medica material which they use is mainly the minerals as well as the metals in the form of alkali or compounds they use in the treatment. The Siddha system has classified into metals and alloys which melt when heated and solidifies when cooled. Okay, so what are those metals that they use? Number one is the silver, then we have got copper, iron, gold and lead. So these metals are incinerated in the special process that they undergo and the medications are prepared by these metals. By these metals. So with the use of these metals, they give the treatment. Now, what are the diseases which are treated, which can be treated by the use of Siddha medicine? They treat all types of the disease except the emergencies, right? All types of the skin problems are treated, from psoriasis, STDs, UTIs, diseases of the liver and GI tract, general disability, postpartum anemia, diarrhea and general fever, allergic disorders, as well as arthritis. So these are the conditions which the Siddha medicine treats. Moving on to the diagnosis part in Siddha medicine, how do they do the diagnosis? First thing is they identify the cause. They do the examination of pulse, urine, tongue, color of the body, as well as the examination of the digestive system. So that is how they do the diagnosis. If you take the Siddha medicine, most of the treatment is for the women. We have got special care for the women. Let us see the care of women's health. According to Siddha, they strongly advocate the breastfeeding, wherein through the breastfeeding, the child or the baby will get all the immunity which is going to help out the child in his or her lifetime. So breastfeeding is a very important thing that they advocate. They also believe that in food itself there is a medicine. We don't require an alternative medicine. They use the food itself as the medicine. If you take the nursing and lactating mothers, Siddha medicine advises or it gives a special importance to these group of ladies, wherein they emphasize the importance of nutritious diet in the mother, like intake of iron-rich food, protein-rich food, fiber-rich diet, which is going to help them to avoid the nutritional deficiencies. Once in 15 days, the mothers are advised to take the deworming process or the medicines. So that is what the Siddha medicine emphasizes the women. They also treat the menopausal syndromes, especially after the lady crosses the menopause period. Okay, there are a lot of changes in the hormones, imbalance in the hormones. So Siddha medicine treats even those syndromes. So that is the care of women according to the Siddha. Right? So Siddha medicine is the ancient medicine which is used in India, especially they use the metals and minerals in their treatment. right? So moving on to the next alternative system, which is the naturopathy. As the name says, naturopathy, we have got the use of nature in the treatment, right? So nature itself is a treatment for individuals, problems or the various elements. According to the naturopathy, what is the concept of the disease causation? Number one is accumulation of morbid matter. Second one is lowered vitality, or in the individual itself there is a low energy. If an individual is having an abnormal composition of the blood and the lymph, okay, it is going to contribute to the disease. What are the principles of naturotherapy? They believe that all diseases, their cause and their treatment is one. So all the diseases, the reason why a person gets all the diseases is a one cause. There is a one treatment, which is the use of the nature. That's what the principle is. The basic cause of the disease is not the microorganisms or the bacteria, but it is the accumulation of morbid matter. They also believe that acute diseases are our friends and not our enemies. Chronic diseases are the outcome of wrong treatment and suppression of acute diseases, right? So that is what they believe. Why a person develops this chronically ill condition is because of the wrong treatment what a person receives. And also when we suppress these acute conditions, it can lead to the chronic disorders. That's what they believe. Naturotherapy believe that nature is the greatest healer. In naturopathy, the treatment is on the patient and not on the disease. So here the concentration is on the complete individual and not on the particular symptom or the disease. So that is what naturotherapy believes. In naturopathy, the diagnosis is very easy and no need to wait for a long time for the diagnosis. Chronic ailments are also treated successfully. They believe that the nature cures all kind of the diseases. It can be the physical, mental, social, spiritual. Simultaneously, it will help in the treatment of all of the areas. Nature Cure treats whole of the body as a single system rather than concentrating on various systems separately. It cures the whole individual or the whole system as a body, and it does not use any kind of the medication. So nature itself is a medicine according to the natural therapy. What is the diagnosis? What is the diagnosis method that they follow in the naturopathy? So they do the facial diagnosis, looking into the face itself. They understand if a person is having an issue or not. They do the iris diagnosis, the iris of the eye. They examine and do the diagnosis. They also use the modern clinical diagnosis. So moving on to the treatment part, what are the treatments? So they use they use the materials which are available in the nature. So natural materials is a treatment, nature is a treatment. So what are the various aspects that they use in the nature? One is the water therapy. Second is air therapy. We have got the massage therapy, mud therapy, food therapy, space therapy, as well as the fire therapy. So these are the ones which is available in the nature, right? So we don't require to go and do a special drug or a medication for that, right? Which is available in the nature. They use those in the treatment process. So if you take the water therapy they use, it can be the hot water therapy or a cold water therapy, shower. They use the baths, so various kinds of bath, hot water and cold water bath, or mud therapy, immersing the person in the mud. So such kind of a therapy which is naturally used. Here I have got an image, okay, which gives the description about the naturotherapy. So you can see here we've got the hip bath, abdominal mud bath, cold water pack, sitz bath, leaves. We've got types of sun bath. The direct sun bath also is there. Steam bath in the box, local steam bath that they give specialized particular areas, steam bath in a chair, hot foot bath. We've got the hot and cold fermentation. Then we have got cold and hot fermentation. We've got the friction bath, the massage. So all these are the treatment which is given by making use of water, air, sunlight or mud. Okay, massage, all these things are the treatment modalities that we use in the naturopathy. So these are some of those alternative systems of the medicine. The next alternative system of medicine that we have is the homeopathy, right? So apart from the Ayurvedic or Unani or Siddha, we have got the homeopathy, which is again widely used in the treatment of various ailments. Here, the ailments are treated by minute doses of natural substances that in larger amount would produce symptoms of the ailments, right? So here they use the naturally available substances for the treatment. If it is used in the larger doses, they get the symptoms of the ailment. So that is the treatment part or that they do in the homeopathy. So what is the cause of disease according to the homeopathy? So what is it which is causing the disturbance? So number one is disturbances in the vital forces, which leads to the disease. So generally, if the person is having disturbance in the whole energy system, okay, so if that is disturbed, there may be chance the person is affected with any kind of the disease. People who live against the nature, right? So like it can be impure water that they drink, or the atmosphere that they live in, or the weather, or changes in the climatic conditions, or if they are not following proper diet, or the alterations there in their activity levels. So people who live against the nature, so such an individual are going to develop the disease according to the homeopathy. The next thing we have is an improper diet. If a person is not having a regular pattern of the diet, if they have an inappropriate cut, if they have an improper diet patterns, then an individual can be affected with the disease. Day-to-day life stress again is a very important thing in homeopathy, right? So how the stress is going to act on our body. So the reaction of a stress, which can be understood by various diseases that a person gets because of the stress, or because of everyday life stressors that they face. So we can see the effects on the various body systems. Okay, that is another important cause of the disease in the homeopathy. Moving to the homeopathy principles, number one is similar symptoms cure a disease expressing with similar symptoms, right? So as I told you, the principle here is they make use of the natural substances, so they give the treatment. So if those is increasing the problems or increasing the elements, we understand that a person is having a problem because of this, right? So similar substances or similar symptoms cure a disease expresses with the similar symptoms. Any particular symptom in its substance form in the human body produces set of symptoms in the human body. To get rid of the set of the same symptoms, a diseased individual is given a refined or defined form of the medicine. So that is the principle in the homeopathy. So here in homeopathy, it is not only for the relief of the symptom, but the total disease will be eradicated. Okay, so the aim is not only to relieve the symptoms, but to improve the overall condition of an individual. The total eradication of the disease, that is the aim in the homeopathy. Moving to the preparation of homeopathy medicine. So if you take the preparation of homeopathy medicines, different and it's unique, wherein any kind of the herb which is having a medicinal value is stored in extra natural alcohol for a period of time. Say for about 3 weeks, the herb will be stored in the alcohol. After 3 weeks, the portion is drained out, okay, which is called as the mother tincture, right? So this is the base of the medicine, which is the mother tincture. After a particular herb is been stored in the alcohol for a period of 3 weeks, the portion is drained thereafter. This drained portion is called as the mother tincture. A single drop of the mother tincture is added to the 99 drops of the alcohol, and it's shaken 10 times. So this portion is going to become the first portion, or we can call it as first potency of homeopathy medicine. When this first portion or the potency of the homeopathy medicine is again mixed with the 99 drops of alcohol and it is shaken, we get the second potency of the homeopathy medicine. So we have got the categories of first potency and the second potency of homeopathy medicine, which is being prepared. So this is the preparation of the medicine which happens in the homeopathy. Classification of remedies. So what are the various disorders which can be, treated? Currently, there are 3,000 remedies which is being recorded. Okay. So what are the various remedies that we have? Mainly the 5 tabs. First one, specific remedies. You're going to specifically treat the condition. Next, we have constitutional remedies, singular remedies, polycrest remedies, and the combination remedies. So these are the various remedies that is available. Moving on to the main aim of the homeopathy. The main aim is to revitalize the injured vital force without causing any side effects. So if you take the homeopathy medicine, it is not having any kind of the side effects in the human organism, right? So what are the treatment modalities which happens without surgery? So there are certain medical conditions wherein they are, indicated for a surgery. In homeopathy, without even surgery, the treatment can be done. So what are those conditions which can be treated without the surgery? Number one, sinusitis, tonsillitis, hemorrhoids, renal calculi, fissure and fistula in the anus, disc prolapse. So these are the conditions. Even without the surgery in homeopathy, there is a complete treatment or a remedy. Okay, so this is about the homeopathy. Moving on to the next treatment modality in alternative system, which is the yoga therapy. Yoga is the science of holistic living. Yoga, which means to unite or to integrate total initiation of physical, mental, intellectual, spiritual aspects of human personality. So here it is the union or integration of all these aspects. It can be the physical, mental, spiritual, or the intellectual aspect. They are integrated together. The aim of the yoga therapy is the harmonious development of the mind, body, as well as the soul. So there should be a connection, or there should be a harmonious relationship between the mind, body, and the spirit or the soul. So that is the aim of yoga therapy. Moving on to Unani medicine. According to the principles of Unani medicine, they believe that disease is a natural process, right? So anything which happens or disease, it is a natural process, and we have to allow it to happen, as it is in a natural way. Whatever a person gets when it cut. So when a person gets a disease, he produces certain symptoms. So the symptoms which the person experiences is because of the reaction which happens to the body when he is exposed to certain disease. And here the chief function of the physician is to aid the natural forces of the body. Unani medicine is basically based on the humoral theory. So we have got the various fluids in the body. Okay, so when a person gets the disease, it is a natural process which should happen, and the physician should be able to help out the individual to get out that disease in a natural way. So that is about the Unani. Moving on to the diet therapies. If you take the diet therapies, we have got the various diet therapies given by different people. Number one, we have Gerson's therapy, right? Gerson therapy is a powerful, natural treatment that activates body's own healing mechanism through consumption of organic vegetarian diet, food or the juices, leading to detoxification, and also they make use of the natural substances. So if you take the Gerson's therapy, they mainly use the vegetarian foods as well as juices for the treatment process, which can lead to detoxification, removal of toxin from the body, and also the natural supplements will be used in the diet, which is going to boost the health of an individual. So that is the Gerson's therapy. The second therapy we have is the Kelly regimen. Kelly's regimen is a metabolic therapy that became famous around the year 1970 as a well-known alternative treatment for cancer. It was developed in the early 90s by an orthodontist, William Kelly. So the Kelly's regimen is named after him. If you take the Kelly regimen, it includes drinking various fruit juices, receiving coffee enemas, and taking nutritional supplements such as pancreatic enzymes. Okay, so these were the concept of the Kelly's regimen. Moving on to the ketogenic diet. So what this ketogenic diet contains? It is usually a high fat diet which is also having the adequate proteins, low in carbohydrate diet, primarily which is used to treat difficult to control epilepsy in the children. Okay, so in those children, this ketogenic diet is being used, which is high in fat, low in carbohydrate, and as having adequate protein for reducing the conditions of epilepsy in the children. The next category is the macrobiotic diet. It is a dietary therapy which involves eating grains as a staple food, supplemented with other foods such as vegetables and beans, and avoiding the use of highly processed or refined foods. So that is the macrobiotic diet, okay, wherein they make use of grains as a staple food. Along with that, they use the vegetables and beans and avoid the refined foods. So that is about the diet therapy. Moving on to the next treatment that we have in autoimmune system is the herbal treatment or the herbal therapy. So herbal medicines here that they use is mainly the Chinese herbs, especially which are used as antiviral energy immune boosters to support the stress organs during the chemotherapy and also when the organs are exposed to the radiation therapy, especially it is being used in those conditions. So that is the herbal therapy. Moving on to the manual healing therapies. If you take the manual healing therapies, number one we have got is acupuncture. Involves the procedures wherein they'll be stimulating the anatomical structure on the body using variety of techniques. So acupuncture technique that is most widely being followed is the use of the needles which are thin, solid and metallic. So such kind of needles will be penetrated into the particular points or of anatomical structure which can be manipulated by hands or by electrically, right? So that is what these particular anatomical structure or points, they will be penetrating these thin solid metallic needles which are wherein the nerves will get stimulated. Okay, so that is one of the manually used treatment. The next one we have the biobehavioral therapies. So in the biobehavioral therapies, you're going to bring about changes in the biology as well as the behaviors or the emotions of an individual. Number one, we have got the biofeedback therapy. Here we have got some kind of instruments which an individual will be connected through, okay, through the help of placements of electrodes or sensors. Okay, such things will be placed onto an individual's body and it will be connected to a particular machine wherein the readings will happen. So it is going to give a feedback related to the physiological status, what is happening at the different emotions, right? It can be related to when you're stressed, for example. What happens, you're connected to a BP machine or an equipment, so it shows your BP is high or heart rate is high, right? So it gives you a feedback. It's a non-invasive procedure wherein it gives us a feedback related to the physiological changes which happens when the mind is being affected, right? So that is the biofeedback therapy. The next one is the imagery. So imagery is nothing but the use of imagination. We ask the client to imagine certain events which happen in the life of the person very memorable, or to divert him we ask him to imagine some pleasant environment or nature or anything which he likes, okay, like walking on the seashore, hearing the imagination, right? So such kind of a procedure that we follow, especially to help out the person who is under stress, pain, tension, to divert the mind of the client. The next one which we have is a music therapy. So again, in the music therapy, we use the various instruments or the various types of the music to divert the mind of the client from the pain. The next one we have is the yoga. Then we have got relaxation therapy to relax the client from the tension, stress, and any kind of a mental discomfort. We have got the various other types of the therapies. Number one is the aromatherapy. So if you take the aroma is nothing but the smell, right? We have got the various modes of application of aromatherapy. Number one, aerial diffusion. So in the aerial diffusion, the environment of the client will be disinfected, or some kind of a fragrance will be diffused into the environment of the client. So that is called as aerial diffusion into the environment. And disinfectant agent will be diffused, or any kind of a fragrances which are pleasant that can also be diffused. So that is the aerial diffusion. Next one is the direct inhalation. In the direct inhalation, the client is given certain aromas which will be inhaled. Especially, it's going to help the client with the respiratory problems who are having rhinitis, to aid in the decongestion as well as expectoration, and also it is used in bringing the psychological effects. Okay, so that is the inhalation method. The third one we have is topical application onto the skin. These scents or fragrances will be applied through general massage, or it can be used in some baths, compressions, and as well as therapeutic skincare, right? So this is about the aromatherapy, use of the fragrances in the various modes. The next one we have got the art therapy. Art therapy is a form of expressive therapy wherein the individual or the client who are not able to express their emotion through the art or through the drawings. We have got the various arts like drawing, painting, dancing. Okay, so through these art therapy, they are going to express their emotions. The next one we have the hydrotherapy. Hydro is nothing but the water. So in these water therapies, they make use of jets, underwater massages, mineral bath, which is going to help out the client. For example, they may use the whirlpool bath in the various pools, or you can use the hot Roman pool, cold sponge, as well as the mineral bath. Okay, so this is what is the hydrotherapy. Making use of water, the person will be treated. The next one we have is a reflexology. Okay, so in reflexology, the areas of the foot is believed to correspond to the organs or the structures of the body, right? So if you take the foot part, we have got the various points wherein they will be given a massage or they will be given the stimulation. Each area in the particular foot is corresponding to a particular organ or the structure inside our body. So if this particular area is being massaged or is being stimulated, that particular organ, whatever the disorder they have or issues they have, will be stimulated, and that is what the method that they follow for the healing of a particular organ system, right? So based on the areas on the particular or points on the particular part in the foot, they'll be given a massage, they'll be stimulated so that that particular organ which corresponds to the function of it will be treated. So that is what is reflexology. The last treatment modality which we have is hypnotherapy. So hypnotherapy, again, we are if a person is having any kind of an unconscious conflict, right? So the painful event which happened in the life of the person will be stored in the unconscious mind by using the defense mechanism of repression. So such conditions will be ventilated out through the hypnotherapy. So the hypnosis therapist will be there, who will be guiding the client, who will be giving the instructions to the client to explain about those painful events. So unconscious memories which was repressed, those things will be brought to the conscious level and it will be released out, ventilated out, and person feels better. So that is what we'll be doing in the hypnotherapy. So various conditions, psychiatric conditions, it can be related to the PTSD or phobias or depression, panic attacks or stress, anxiety, eating disorders, alcohol related problems. So all these issues which happens in the life of the person, there is a reason behind why it happens. Maybe it is a unconscious conflict that the person holds in himself, right? So that can be the reason. So through that hypnotherapy, the person's emotions will be released out wherein he feels better, right? So these are the various treatment modes that we have apart from the psychopharmacological agents, physical agents that we use in the treatment of psychiatric conditions. We have also have these alternative systems of medicines, again a very important part in the treatment of psychiatric conditions. Hope you all have understood the topic. Thank you.